guests before that we even stop the intro. So, hey, David. Hey, Nathan. Yay. I'm so excited to have Kristin here. I recently took one of her courses on writing and it was amazing. And I'm like, I have to get you live. So, Kristin, take it from here. Say what you do, who you are, what you love.
Hello. Hi, friends. Yeah, it's good to see so many friendly faces in the chat already.
I know.
Hi,
Hey, Wendy.
Wendy
Hey,
and
Sheree. Yeah.
Nathan, David. We've got Rachel. Yeah, so I'm gonna say it this way. I'm a holistic business healer. And I come in, oh, Gretchen's here. Hi, Gretchen.
Yeah,
And
Gretchen.
so I'm storytelling obsessed, but I realize that there are so many businesses out there who are just focused on storytelling. They are not concerned about their offer. They're not concerned about messaging consistency, and they are blowing it with the people who need their help most. So I came in and I was like, let me be an industry disruptor. I'm still disrupting every day. Totally proud of it. And I'm professionally trained as a certified copy editor, right? So I am all about language, I'm all about clarity and concision and correctness. And I wanted to apply that to help business owners. And I know we're going to hop into that in a little bit with my big pivot story. But I just want to say thanks for having me on today, Tanya.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure for me to work with you when you were in my class. You were just delightful and so involved and so dedicated. It's really fun to be here.
Well, you know, I am never above saying I need help, right? It's like I've got a story and I'm starting my own coaching company. It's been 1 year and 2 months. And I know that, what I'm writing, what I'm putting out on social media could be a lot better. And you really did help me rein in the story. We talked about my niche and coaching, and it was super helpful, just being very mindful of my words. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you already instinctively want to communicate, and so all we did was like focus that up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that that's half the battle is wanting to actually communicate.
Yeah.
So you were really willing to do that. So my job was just to come in and be like, "Okay, let me help you with an outside perspective," which it's so difficult for us to understand our own businesses. Like when I'm writing for my business, I go to a copywriter friend and I'm like, hey, how does this sound? Because even me, that's my expertise, right? But for my
Yeah.
own business, there's like this fog around your head when you start to think about how you want to write for the people who need your help. And it's so intimidating. And it's kind of like paralyzing to where you're
Yeah.
like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah. Well, yes. And I specialize in coaching business owners, real estate agents, one of my biggest niche with clients. It's not, so it's like, you'd say, Tanya, this is really confusing. You need to, they're not, people who are confused aren't going to buy. And I'm like, well, this isn't confusing to me.
Right. No, it's true because you're
Right.
like, because our brains will autofill the things that aren't on the paper for us. But then
Right.
when someone else goes to read it, they're like, I don't know, because their brain isn't autofilling anything. So they're just left with the gaps.
No. And I'm really lucky. Like Sheree's helped me. She's here. Hi, Sheree. She's helped me with videos. Melissa, is awesome. Gretchen and I do lives together on coaching. We're going to do one with Melissa soon. So everybody here has been so supportive, obviously including you, Kristin. So I know you have a story. I know you have a story about how you got to where you are. And obviously, this show is What's Your Story? So what's your story?
Yeah, so I apologize in advance. My story's a COVID story. I know we're all sick of COVID stories, but that's where I'm at, so I'm just sticking
Yeah.
to it. So I had a editing co-op where it was me and other editors and fiction writers would come to us and they would be like, "Hey, I have always dreamed of writing this book. Can you help me do it?" And we would be like, "Absolutely, yes." And we had like the 6 pillars workshop. We had like every kind of program you can imagine. I used to call part of it $5 writing school, right? Where I pour everything into your brain that's stored in my brain in just I think it's like 51 pages worth of the book. And so when COVID happened, people are like, should I spend $5,000 on this crazy seeming dream I have when I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow? And
Yeah.
I totally got it. But our
Yeah.
calendar, which was full, all of a sudden became totally empty. My husband couldn't work because he was a painter at the time and he couldn't go into people's houses anymore. So it was like one of those things where I'm like, there are no government programs in place yet to keep my heat on and or the heat in our student rental, which sat vacant for 18 months.
Wow.
And I was like, the pipes are going to freeze and they're going to burst. How can I get some money now? How can I pay these bills right now? And how
Yeah.
can I like have work for my staff who's been working with me, right? They're all contracted, but like to me in my heart, they are like employees in
Right.
that they depend on me to go find the work because they have other clients too, but most of it's probably coming from my business. So it's like, okay, what is it that all of my fiction writing friends are doing to make money? And I realized all of them are copywriters on the side. And
Right.
I was like, could I do that? Let me just try. So I, Tanya knows this about me. I'm like an extreme person where I'm like, if I think I can do something, I will just go all in. Like one time I did an experiment to see how much I could write in 5 weeks. I was like, I'm going to try to write, what was it? 125,000 words in 5 weeks just to see if I can do it. And I did it. And it was just like, people are like, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, "I just wanted to see if I
Yeah.
could."
Well,
So
that's why I so respect you and why I love talking to you because I'm the same way. It's like, oh, okay, let's go fly airplanes. Okay, I'm gonna go learn to fly an airplane. I didn't ask how much it cost. Like what, did I realize I was doing this in Maine back when I was 25 years old in an all male dominated, right,
yeah,
industry. And I'm like, yep, let's just go do it. I just leap. And then I figure,
right,
okay, I'll
like,
figure out how I'm gonna land at some point.
yeah, I like, can I do it? So I did that with copywriting. I got into this program. It was 10 days to 1K. That's another thing about me. If I'm in your program, I will literally do every single thing you tell me to do. And so I did everything. I had $1,000 in 10 days. I had $2,000 in 10 days. I think I had $3,000 at the end of those 10 days.
There you
So I
go.
was like, yes, let's pay the bills. And actually, I'm really good at this and I love it. And my clients are getting results.
Yeah.
And so that's when I realized like maybe fiction editing is not the thing I was meant to do. And I just in my head was like, I can make money doing this. That's why I went back to school. That's why I built a whole business around it because I thought I can actually make money doing this. That did not turn out to be as easy as I thought. And then I was like, ugh, I signed up with a new mentor. I was paying her $1,000 a month. The first question she asked me is, are the people that you want to work with willing to pay you? And I was like, honestly, no. That's my number one problem. They're not willing to pay me. Oh my gosh, this is like such a light bulb moment. And that's when I realized like I can take all of the things that I've accumulated and I've had a lot of weird jobs. Like if you ask for the list, it's weird. I will tell you that straight out.
Mm-hmm.
But I could take all the things I had done and put it into a business that people were actually willing to pay for. And the best part is that I help my clients get paid.
Yeah.
So it was just this transformative, which is a zombie noun, and I shouldn't use it. It was an experience that transformed me. My editing professor would be super proud that I did that. So that I could find what my real professional purpose and passion was. And now that's what I get to do every day. And when I'm sitting writing for someone, like if I feel the tiniest bit frustrated, I'll do my PQ reps, which is from positive intelligence, which I know
Yes, I
you
know
did
what
too.
those are.
And I will feel thankful that people pay me to write. And that has been my dream for as long as I can
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. Well, those are the stories I love, and it's okay to share a COVID story because COVID really was transformational in so many ways, positive ways, negative ways, ways to grow, muscles. I lost two very close family members during COVID.
I'm so sorry.
But I'm not the only one. I mean,
Right.
right. It was just that there's a lot of muscles that were grown during that time. So please, I don't want it. Everybody can share their COVID ahas, and it was huge,
Yeah.
really huge.
Life
It's when I
changing.
decided to leave my corporate job and start my own coaching company, and I did, exactly 14 months ago. So yeah. So good for
Yeah.
you. And you're working and, not doing a job that's just okay or I'm fine with, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm right now I'm building $100,000 offer, which never. It never would have occurred to me that that was something that I would be doing. And I just want to say hi to Susanna Dawn because I see she's
Hey,
posting in the
Susanna.
comments, and
Yep.
Gretchen's like PQ baby.
PQ, right.
Yes.
And I put it up there so you would see it. PQ baby. So,
Yes,
right.
PQ, that's every day. And honestly, to me, I realized if you've gone through positive intelligence, am I saying that right? Is that right?
Yep. That is
Oh, yes.
positive
Okay.
intelligence. Yep.
So if you've gone through it, the program, you take out like this judge and you meet them, and it's so creepy, and it gave me a panic attack. So that was like my first panic attack in months. But I figured out that my judge, who I call Miss Trunchbull from Matilda, is telling me that I'm not smart enough all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Like constantly. I'm not smart enough to make a decision about this. I'm not smart enough to know how to invest the money that I've made. I'm not smart enough to help a client, even though I do that every day. So it was just one of like, I feel like I'm on this crazy trajectory, and the difference between me and a lot of people who get to this point in their story is they get tired and they quit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, those voices are exhausting, right?
They're so
And they're
annoying and
hard to get
evil.
rid of if you don't realize. Like, so when I went through the course, right? And did you take the saboteur assessment?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a
So
pleaser.
you're a pleaser. I'm
Yep.
overachiever.
Okay.
I'm an overachiever.
Someone in my pod is an overachiever, so I get it.
Yes. But so the voice I need to quiet and be aware of, because they're never going to go away, but we
No.
can learn to silence them more effectively. I call her Baba Yaga. So Baba Yaga is like a witch, a Russian and I have lots of Russian, heritage from family, and I can speak Russian. So Baba Yaga is, that ugly witch that pops up and says to me, I'm too old. What are you thinking? Kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
We all
Like,
have them.
they're there. And like, that's one of the things that I've been teaching from the very beginning, because my clients don't just come to me for messaging. A lot of times they need to borrow my belief in them for us to be able to work together.
Yeah.
So I will say, the only thing that we can control is whether or not we quit, not
Right.
whether or not we fail. We're going to fail. Failure
Sure.
is an amazing teacher, right?
Yep.
If we can harness that voice that's encouraging and compassionate, and we have the self-compassion, rather than you failed, you're a loser, why do you even keep going, which is like, the more judge voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear that a lot in coaching when, it doesn't happen very often, but every so often I'll have a client quit coaching because they're quitting on their dreams, and it's so sad. So
It is
sad.
so sad. And like,
Yeah.
I think too, that's one of the things that I've noticed when I'm working with my clients is they're like, I can't do this because I can't make money. And I'm like, it's not, I mean, because you went through my course, it's not that you can't make money doing that, but until you address what they think they need in order to make the change, you don't get permission to actually share what they really need.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I love the course. David said confidence is a huge issue. Sure. Confidence it is. And a lot of, depending on the human, everyone's different. It depends, where they got knocked down in life and how they got back up again, or did somebody in your life keep you down? All kinds of things.
Right. There's outside influences, there are inside influences, right? And yeah, even we were in the green room before, we were talking about boundaries. Like, I was a boundary injured person for most of my life. I experienced spiritual abuse from 2 different sources, like 5 years apart, and one of them almost broke apart my marriage, which to me is extremely important. If you know me at all, I'm obsessed with my husband. I love him so much. But that, I didn't know how to have balance in my life, and I would let the outside voices say whatever they wanted, and I would believe them without thinking twice.
Yeah. And that's a lot about being a people pleaser too, right?
Yes.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah. No, that's a huge,
No, it's a big, right?
right.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, I can't say no to you, even though I know I should say no because
Yeah.
it's actually not possible for me to do that. But I'm going to care more about your feelings than reality.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and luckily we grow through that, right? So I listen to the voices in my head daily, keep them in check. You do.
Yes.
Gretchen is actually now helping and teaching Shirzad do that with the
That's
positive intelligence. So
amazing.
I
Did you
want to
get
hear more about that,
certified,
Gretchen,
Gretchen?
when we go live. Yes.
That's the best. I love it. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. It is really cool. All right. If anybody has any questions about copywriting, ghostwriting,
Offer
I know I'm
creation.
going to ask a question about artificial intelligence because I know the big chat. I see
Yes.
it on all social media platforms. Chat GPT.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's talk about
Anything you want to talk
ChatGPT.
about. Yeah.
And we can talk about Google Labs because guess who got approved as an early tester? This lady.
Ooh, yay.
So let me just preface all of this by saying I think we are on the tail end of the Chat GPT craze. And the reason I think this is because I have been testing it like crazy. I've been trying with my knowledge to get Chat GPT to do what I can do, and it just can't. And it's almost ridiculous. So ChatGPT cannot write convincing headlines for you. And if you bring me a headline that looks not what you think is nice, I will be able to pick it apart in 2 seconds and be like, there's no sales psychology in this.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. So I have been testing it to see if I could make it improve my client work. And the truth is, it has not worked. And the way I've been testing it is I'll write everything in a file before and I will have it. And then I use ChatGPT, I give it the prompts, and I try to get it to give me something similar to what I have written. And it is always a dumpster fire of vagueness.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It can't write in your voice. It doesn't understand sales psychology. Even me, I'm trained in sales psychology. And I've heard the argument that if you know sales psychology, you can get it to spit out sales psychology. And I have proven that to be false. It doesn't work. What ChatGPT is good for, though, I will say, is creating an outline or maybe getting out of your head, right? You're like so focused on, I need this many words, and you can just look at ChatGPT, spit it out, and you'll know instinctively, like, this isn't as good as what I can write. Therefore, I'm just going to go write it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's talk about Google Labs, since I'm an early adopter. It's like 1/8 as good as ChatGPT. Honestly, it's so bad. I've been testing it out all week and I'm just like laughing at the things that I get. I'm like, okay, it's like I didn't put in stuff and then it spits out something about a flamingo. It's not that random, but it's just vague. It can't do almost any of the same things that ChatGPT can do. And so I do not see this lasting because it is a cheap imitation of your voice.
Yeah.
And that will not ever gain client trust. And I know people are like, they're making advances every single day or advancements. I don't know which one's grammatically correct right now because it's late in the day and I've been up since 4. But it's not ever going to replicate you. It doesn't, it's not, and it can't do the most basic things that honestly, right? Like people who are not copywriters, let me preface, people who are not actually trained copywriters who have tested what they're doing.
Yeah.
They cannot write copy well. Why would we think that a robot can write copy well? Right. They're way dumber than we are. I mean, like they can compile things. Computers are amazing. Like equations, all that fun stuff, cool. Computers are not good at being creative, and business writing requires creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. As I learned from you when we're working on hooks and subject line and everything, right? I'd like to see Google or ChatGPT create a subject line that's going to be interesting kind of thing. Don't see it happening.
That's what I've been
Yeah.
testing is like, if I put it in this way, if I put it in this way, and it's just not, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. I like Gretchen's comments right here. Let me put some up there. Would you say it's a mockery?
I mean, not even as fun as a Macarena, I guess.
Yeah.
It
But
won't last. We're at the
yeah,
end of
so
this
I
trend.
tested it the other day because I was a guest at someone's BNI chapter, and I know I have 30 seconds to state, I have like an elevator speech for 30 seconds.
Right.
So I typed into Chat GPT, I put elevator speech for a business coach. And I mean, it was not bad. I mean,
Right.
right. It wasn't bad. And obviously it wasn't my voice, and I rearranged it, but it got me started with an outline.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it takes away the dreaded blank page. So I'm all for that. I think it's useful in that way, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my brother-in-law is a professor, and I was visiting my sister when I was back in Texas a few weeks ago, and we were talking about artificial intelligence and Chat GPT, and he was all up in arms with all the papers that students were turning in that he suspected, because you don't have to write a paper. You don't really necessarily have to, right?
Yeah.
If it's for some students, I'm sure it's an outline, and then they can go from there. And then he probably isn't quite able to say, okay, did you start with Chat GPT and what would he care? But where he's up in arms is somebody who just, copies and pastes it and turns it in.
Right, which you
Yeah.
can tell for various reasons, but also for people who are watching that are not aware, Chat GPT will take or make up information that's not real and put it into your text as if it were. And that is extremely problematic.
Yes. Well, and we know that just from the news and things that we read. Yeah.
Oh yeah, companies having their private secrets leaked because they were putting it in there. Like it said there's a crazy warning every time you use it. I'm like, all you had to do was read it, friends. That's all you had to do.
Well, it's fun to watch and it's fun to listen. I'm actually going to back us way up to Susan's comment because, hold on just a second. Let me find it there. Susanna's comment, I missed it till after we changed the subject. So let's go back for just a second. Definitely struggling with those voices. I've dealt with them, being rejected at age 7. Yes, that's when they start.
Right.
No, we're not really born with them.
Well, and that's something that Sirjad talks a lot about is like they start popping out between like ages 7 and 10.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of debate about where it comes from in the brain, right? Like it depends on your worldview too. But I think that we're not born perfect, right? No person is perfect, but when we're children, we have this willingness and this openness, and then it slowly gets like stamped out of us,
Yeah.
which is extremely unfortunate because then we have to spend so much time as adults trying to reopen that creativity.
Right.
And this is, I'm a marketing expert. So what do I tell people all day long? Having creative people on your team is what will make you money. Honestly, you cannot make money without creative people. And I know a lot of schools, they're decentivizing the arts or disincentivizing the arts and all of this. Like, they're like, it's not valuable. Yes, it is, because without it, we cannot make good products. We cannot write good offers. We cannot function as a society, period.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I've got a 2-year-old granddaughter that I am determined that she's not going to lose that strong inner voice, right? Right now, she thinks she can do anything, right? Obviously, we keep her from doing things so that she doesn't get hurt, but not too much, right? I mean, I know she can think she can jump off the table and fly like Wonder Woman. No, that's not happening. But I do not want her stomped on, So I'm on a mission with this granddaughter of mine, that she does not lose that strong inner voice.
Well, and you're not just keeping her from losing that strong inner voice, you're adding your own voice into her head and into her heart and saying, yes, you can.
Yeah. And if I can do it, your mom did it, right? Kristin Spencer can do it. You can do it. Yeah. We can. Yeah. All right. Any questions for Kristin before we end at 4:30? Any questions about copywriting, artificial intelligence, stories,
Or
throw
Star
them out
Wars
there.
if
That's
you
what we're
wanna
here for.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you wanna ask me Star Wars questions. I'm a Star
Oh,
Wars
I
super
would.
fan.
Yes.
So, my
Yeah, we
husband
shared our
cosplays as
stories on the
Chewbacca.
4th on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Neither of my kids are big Star Wars fans, so I do honestly think they were switched at birth or something happened.
you're all, "How did they what? How is this even happening?"
I know. But they say that about Harry Potter, because I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. So they both agree with me that they must have been switched at birth, because how come mom doesn't know every single Harry Potter sentence?
I am I mean, I'm here for all of it, right? Like, I love storytelling, so and it used to be my job. I have a degree in comparative world literature, so I just love stories, but
Yeah,
it really helped me with Star Wars to see it from my husband's perspective.
really. Does he have a very unique perspective to Star Wars?
He sees the depth and the compassion and the humanity, and when I heard him talking about it, that's when I got really into it.
Wow. Okay, I have to rewatch it now. I do. And you don't have to ask me twice to rewatch any of them. So it's not like I'm, oh, okay, I'll watch it again.
Gretchen's saying, yeah.
I love what Kimberly said. My grandma told me I could do anything I wanted. Yeah, mine too. Absolutely. So yay for grandmothers. Because
Yes,
mine
my
too.
grandmother called me this week to discuss literature with me. It's like the best. I love it so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it. I love never lose a thought we can fly. Right. That's one of my
Right.
favorite scenes in Wonder Woman when she learns to fly. It is. We can.
That's right.
Wonder
We
Woman or
can.
not. Yep. All right. So yes, Gretchen, I was gonna get there next, but she beat me to it. So thank you, Gretchen. Tell everyone how to find you and work with you and all that kind of good stuff. And whatever
Okay.
programs you have coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to Europe, but when I come back in August, I'm going to be running another cohort, which was what Tanya was in. So if you want to learn how to write the pieces of your messaging foundation so that you can show up consistently and earn client trust and show up with the frequency consistently, no matter how often you choose that. That's a class that teaches you how to do all that fun stuff. You get to hang out with me for 6 weeks. And it's a blast. But if you're
Yep.
like, I don't know how to talk about what I do well, I would encourage you go to literarysymmetry.com. That's my company, Literary Symmetry /more, because I have 2 complimentary ways for you to instantly gain confidence and clarity when talking about your business so that you can make more money doing what you love. And who doesn't want that?
Yeah. All right. So do us a favor, Kristen, when we stop and this all like goes into all the different platforms, like into LinkedIn, put your website and stuff in there in the comments so we can go back and click on that. What I'm learning, and as I'm doing it better with lives, is I want that information before we go live so I can put it in the captions. So
yeah, so I use a Google form for all of my lives, and it's been a lifesaver. So helpful.
I do have one. So yes, okay, I'm taking June off. So this is letting everybody know that June is going to be a month off from lives because it's been exactly a year. So June 1st will be a year. So I'm going to take a month off, revamp it, do some rewriting, do some get some more creativity around it. And one of them will be, well, at the end, I will have graphics on all your stuff coming, going on the bottom. So again, I'm learning and wanted to take a break. As most everybody here knows, Chris Hennessy is my live stream coach. So he's like, take a month off and let's revamp. So I'm all in. Yeah.
That's amazing advice. Yeah, I'm about to air my last episode for season 1 of Your Business Story. And next season is going to be totally different, other than we're still going to tell business stories, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, and what Wendy says, revisit Nathan's villain series. That's on LinkedIn. So for anybody who's not on LinkedIn, who's like maybe logged in from Facebook, yes, Nathan has a villain series, which is pretty cool. Yes. All right. So you're going to go in, Kristin, and put all your information in the comments.
Yes,
awesome.
Definitely.
Yes. Let me see what else is going on here before. And your YouTube. Okay, Gretchen.
I'll put the YouTube also because the YouTube is really good. It's fun.
It is. Yeah. And You're amazing. And thank you for your courses. And I will be back for courses because I'm my marketing person right now for my business. It is on my bucket list someday to hire somebody to do my marketing, but right now it's me. And you've been a wonderful teacher.
Well, thank you so much. And it's been so much fun. And yeah, thanks for inviting me on the show. This was a blast.
Well, when I get it revamped, you're coming again.
Yes, definitely. I would love that.
Well, we're all going to go to Europe. I think we all should take a year off, or not a year off, because I think Gretchen knows my bucket list is to go to Europe for a year and coach, like from Italy, and travel, and I can still coach. So yeah, it is on my bucket list. Let's all go.
I'm down. I mean, I'll go to Europe anytime.
Yeah, we can get an Airbnb. We can hang out. We can coach. We can work.
Yeah, if we go to a country where I can speak the language a little bit, Italy's not on that list, but I did live in Europe for 10 years.
Okay, cool. Well, I can speak Russian, but I'm not sure how far we're going to get into going to Moscow right now, or nor do I want to.
Right. Oh.
So we won't go there. We'll end on that note. How's that?
Somewhere in Europe, definitely.
Yeah, somewhere in Europe. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you. You know how to find us if you need us or want us.
Thanks so much.